Hello there, how's it going? Let's do the try it yourself section for the strings. Save each of the following exercises as a separate file with a name like namecases.py. Okay. Personal message. Use a variable to represent a person's name and print a message to that person. Your message should be simple, such as, "Hello Eric, would you like to learn some Python today?" Okay. So let's do message, personal message. Let's do personal message dot py. Let's create our file first, right? Touch personal message dot py. And so first we need to create a variable name, and let's do Eric in this case, and use a variable to represent a person's name, and then just print the message. Okay, let's print the message, "Hello." And now we actually need to put their name using an f string. Would you like to learn some Python today? Now let's see if it will work. Python personal message.py. It worked. Perfect. Let's move on. Name cases. 2 to 4 name cases. Use a variable to represent a person's name and then print that person's name in lowercase, uppercase, and title case. Okay. So let's create a new file. Name cases.py. So let's say name equal to, I don't know, I cannot come with name. Let's say David Coggins. Why not David Coggins? And we can print the name with uppercase, lowercase, and title case. Now let me mess it up a little bit so we can see all of them. So now this will actually look better. Python name cases.py, uppercase, lowercase, and title case. You could go an extra step and use an f string here as well. Let me show you what I mean. So let's enclose it inside curly braces and enclose it inside quotation mark. And for f strings to work, we have to start with an f. That f actually tells Python to use anything inside curly braces as variables. If you don't have an f, it will treat a string like a text. As I told you, it will just display the same thing. So let's do the same here. And here. Now we can say name uppercase, lowercase, title case. Now it will look slightly better. Let me show you. Uppercase, David Coggins. Lowercase, David Coggins. Title case, David Coggins as well. Let's do the next one. Famous quote. Find a famous quote from a famous person you admire. Print the quote and the name of its author. Your output should look something like the following, including the quotation marks. Albert Einstein once said, "A person who has never made a mistake never tried anything new." Okay, let's say famous quote. Touch famous quote.py. Now there is already an example of Albert Einstein. You can use this one if you want to, or you can think of anything new. So should I think of anything new? Let's talk about Marcus Aurelius. Print Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's I don't think that's work. That would work. So will gets dyed by the color of its thoughts. Hmm. So the problem is that I cannot use single quotes. So in order to use single quotes, I will have to use backslash by the color of its thought. Python famous quotes famous quote.py. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's soul gets dyed by the color of its thoughts." So the idea is how you could use quotation mark inside your strings. Famous quote 2. Repeat access 2 to 5, but this time represent the famous person name using a variable called famous person. Then compose your message and represent it with a new variable called message. Okay, famous person makes sense. So famous 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 person is Marcus Aurelius. And the code, and this is their code. Let's cut it and paste it. Now we will put their name through a variable, famous, famous person. Now we can print the code. Let's run it. Python famousperson.py. Same result. Stripping names. Use a variable to represent a person's name and include some white space character at the beginning and end of the name. Make sure you use each character combination \n and \t and \n at least once. Print the name once so the white space around the name is displayed, then print the name using each of the 3 stripping functions. Okay, so let's create a new file, Dutch stripping names.py. Now we need to create a name, let's say Alice, and we want to add a bunch of spaces at the beginning and at the end. So let's do that. Now we display the name as it is, then we display it by just removing spaces through the left, Al strip, then we remove from just the right by R strip, and then we finally remove them from both sides strip. Let's see how it looks like. Python stripping names.py. Wow, so that's the first one. That's the actual name. That's the second one, no spaces from the left, but this is the right one, no spaces on the right. And this is the last one. In order to make it clear, you can add some messages, original and L strip, R strip, and then strip. Now it will look slightly better. That's the original. This is left strip. So this is left strip. You can see there's no spaces at the left. This is right strip. There are no spaces to the right. This is the strip. No spaces anywhere. Let's do the last one. file extensions. Python has a remove suffix method that works exactly like remove prefix. Assign the value python notes.txt to a variable called filename, then use the remove suffix method to display the file name without the file extension like some file browsers do. Okay, makes sense. Let's create a new file, touch file extensions.py. Let's open the file. Let's do file name equal to python notes.txt, and we want to remove the last .txt part. We can do that with file name dot remove suffix .txt, and let's run the code and see if it works. It worked. Nice. So I guess this is it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.